Then we received word that Prabhupada was better. We got him back. Now we had to step it up. We had to learn as much from him as we could.
From the outset, our intention had been, let's do something really big for Prabhupada. And there wasn't much bigger in 1968 than the Beatles.
We got news that the Beatles had been in Rishikesh, in India, studying with a guru there. And then Life magazine came out with this huge spread. Their new records came out with all these songs about Eastern philosophy that we had loved so much. So I came up with this idea. Go to London and start a center for Prabhupada and meet these Beatles. We named ourselves Hare Krishna Temple, the rock group. We began getting engagements at rock concerts. We used to almost daily go down to the Apple offices and give the staff and everyone there the food or books. Unbeknownst to us, George Harrison had got a hold of the Swami's record called Krishna Consciousness. And he told me later that he was listening to it almost every day.
Through the Beatle experience, I'd experienced so many things and met so many people, but I realized there was nothing actually that was giving me a buzz anymore. I wanted something better. I remember thinking, I'd love to meet somebody who will really impress me.
He had memorized the Swami's introduction to the album. He knew it word for word.
As living spiritual souls, we are all originally Krishna conscious entities, but due to our association with matter from time immemorial, our consciousness is now polluted. In this concept of life, we are all trying to exploit the resources of material nature, but actually, we are becoming more and more entangled in complexities.
One day I wound up in the Apple Records offices, and George Harrison was there. He saw me sitting in a group of people in the very back. He opened the door, walked through all these people, and came over to me and said, "Where have you been? I've been waiting to meet you." George came down to see us where we were living in our warehouse in Covent Garden.
He so much appreciated the Hare Krishna mantra that he immediately said, let's make a 45 record.
So we all went over to Abbey Road Studios, made that record, Hare Krishna Mantra. None of us had ever done anything like this before. Paul McCartney was there, and he volunteered to mix it from the control booth, and George played with us. He had a little sit-down harmonium with psychedelic flowers all over it. And then all the Apple staff who was there joined in the chorus.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
It sold 70,000 copies the first day.
Apple organized tours for us. We went to Germany and France and had television coverage. The Sunday Times wanted to do a feature on us, and we were able to send a report back to Srila Prabhupada with the headlines, Krishna consciousness startles London.
I became quite friendly at one point with Swami Bhaktivedanta, who formed the Krishna temple. They'd call me up and say, come to the temple, the Swami's here and he'd love to see you. And I'd be like going through some private nightmare or something, and I think, how can I go to the temple? And I'm like this. But then I'd go, and I'd always walk out of there thinking, oh, thank you, Lord.
And he said to me at a certain time, I want to do songs for Krishna. We were backstage in Apple, and he says, here's this song, and he plays My Sweet Lord.
Hare Krishna. The music really was the key that opened the door into the yoga and the Vedic scriptures, which is really the foundation of everything. You know, it gave some sort of backbone to my life. Krishna said, there's no time when we didn't exist, and there'll be no time when we cease to exist. The only thing that changes is the body.
When George introduced this, it went worldwide.
Life was an adventure. He'd call me in and say, we got invitations to Paris, Bombay, Sydney, and one just arrived from Nairobi. Where do you think we should go? By then I knew to say the wildest place. I think we should go to Nairobi. I was thinking the same thing. He always wanted to go where there was least development, where he could contribute the most.